So if you're creating a podcast, it's likely that you're aware of how people listen to podcasts, and that being, on the majority of the time, when they're doing something else, in a subconscious way. So they're doing the washing up, they're driving, doing a task that requires low input from their brain. So they've shut off and they're doing that in autopilot, but actually they're able to consume other information. And as human beings, we're trying to become more effective and efficient as we go. So having a podcast is a really smart way of us actually learning or being entertained whilst we're doing something else. So we're trying to treat the system in that way. But if you're a podcaster, then it really does work in your favor. And the reason being is because that person has chosen to focus their conscious mind on the task in hand. So they're in autopilot and they're doing what it is they happen to be doing. So they're distracting some part of their brain that sometimes puts barriers in the ways or questions things or perhaps doesn't give you that full attention. Whereas if you're also in their ears telling them your message, your expertise, your knowledge, not only are you able to create a really good relationship with that person, but that person's able to absorb that information a lot more effectively. Don't know if you've ever thought of it in that way, but it's something that I was talking to Ben and Ollie when we were discussing the Going in Deep podcast, the show that we're trying to promote and build at the moment, and everyone on the call seemed to think that that was a really, really valuable point and actually something worthwhile. And we think that actually it's probably the reason why people can listen to podcasts for such a long duration, such a long format in that way. So if you think of a video that you watch here on YouTube, it's likely to be under 10 minutes because you're having to focus for that period of time and get distracted by something else, or you didn't like the visuals maybe, or the video wasn't quite what it was, so you swipe and you go on to the next video. Whereas a podcast, if you are doing something else, the other benefit for this is that you're unlikely to want to actually stop what it is because you're trying to get that job done, you're trying to finish your run, you're trying to drive to the location, and you shouldn't be and can't be taking your hands off the wheel to just flick on to the next episode. Love to hear your thoughts on it, if you think the same or whether I'm just absolutely talking a load of baloney. And if you're keen to hear more from me, then be sure to subscribe and click on one of the videos you see on screen.